Hello and welcome to the 43rd episode of Growing Up Geek, the weekly podcast for geek entertainment and nostalgia. My name is Brad, and I am joined this week by my wife, Amber.
Hello.
She is here because there are just too many weddings going on, and we're going to record this one before all that madness starts.
Too many weddings? That's kind of mean to say.
Yeah, I don't know. This week, Amber and I watched Fool's Gold with Matthew McConaughey.
I didn't say it. You
and
did.
Kate Hudson.
Oh, gosh.
And I said that Kate Hudson was old enough to be my mother. We looked it up, and she was born one day after me.
I said, I think she's 29, and she's 29.
There you go. So, found out that I am apparently older than I thought I was. But anyway, I should say it's 10:53 at night. We got out of the 7:15 showing of Blindness. A new movie just came out. It stars Mark Ruffalo and Julianne Moore. And it's basically about an epidemic that starts in the United States, I want to say.
Yeah, it's the United States.
Okay, and it starts with one person who loses their sight, and then it sort of spreads where in a matter of days, all kinds of people just stop being able to see. Then it turns into a government quarantine, and these people are forced to live out almost a concentration camp lifestyle. I knew almost nothing about this movie going into it, but you had at least seen the preview.
Yeah.
So what did you think about Blindness?
I thought it was good. It seemed like it might have been a little long. They were spending a whole lot of time on them surviving and not really anything else.
Well, yeah, I will say on the downside, I'm not sure if the American government would do this. As bad as people say the U.S. government is, I don't know if I buy that they would put people just flat out in these camps, which basically turn into random naked dudes wandering around and garbage and feces on the floor.
I think whoever wrote this or directed it really liked to show people naked and being gross a lot.
There's a lot of random naked people.
There's a lot of stuff that doesn't need to be seen, in my opinion, but whatever. I don't want to give away the movie, but it seemed like the government knew that it was going to happen. Like, they purposely set this up to see what would happen.
Yeah.
I mean, they acted like they didn't know, but they also were so quick and had tapes recorded about what to do that right after the first guy was infected, the first guy goes into quarantine and they already have all this set up.
It's a very Nazi-like response. I actually thought that they did a good job of portraying what would happen when people are thrown into situations where they're rationing food and they're not able to kind of see. Julianne Moore's character is actually the only character who has sight, and that's where I thought that the movie was strongest, is she's almost a superhero. You've got all these blind people and one person who, for some reason, is able to retain their sight.
It was kind of weird that she was the only one that had their sight.
Did you think that was cool, though? I mean...
No, it was cool to see how she could do things that other people couldn't do. I'm just saying, I don't know how realistic it is.
I actually felt that this movie got a lot better in the third act. I mean, the word that kind of kept coming to my mind is beautiful. I thought it was actually kind of nice when they got out in... I don't want to give away too much, but I actually thought it became kind of like the best parts of a Walking Dead or a Why the Last Man kind of story.
28 days later.
28 days later, exactly. They say a good ending can turn around a film for someone. I really, in the last act of this film, I was enjoying it quite a bit.
Yeah, it showed a lot of good stuff of how they survived and how they got things done. It's just the fact that they talked about it in the beginning, about how all these people were trying to figure out why this was happening, and then they just stopped talking about it altogether.
Right.
That kind of upset me a little bit.
Yeah. Leaves you with some of your own conclusions to make. But overall, I would say it's worth checking out.
I guess I was expecting them to explain things more, and maybe that's not what their point was, you know.
So it defies expectation a little bit.
A little bit, but it was still good.
Maybe it's better that people just know what it is going into it. Don't expect
it's kind of like Children of Men, but not as good as that movie. No. But people are surviving in that
End
movie.
End of the world kind of feel. Yeah, so that is Blindness and our mini review or full review for this week. And before we close out our show, we always like to leave with a little nostalgia. And since you're the girl here, you can provide this experience. Schoolyard games. There's a whole bunch of games that girls would play that was not part of my world. But I would...
Wasn't?
No, I guess not. But I just wanted to kind of reminisce a little bit about some of those. You were telling me about this one where you figure out who you're going to marry and then... Can you explain that one again?
I didn't do it a whole lot, but I think it was called MASH. You would write down on a piece of paper 5 choices for who you would marry,
right?
Who would be your maid of honor, what color your dress would be, where your honeymoon would be, all those things. You narrow it down and you find out who you're supposed to marry and where you're going to live and all this stuff.
And like one of the choices for where you would live is like a shack.
Well, yeah.
So like you're married to this guy, you live in a shack.
You could end up with a good future or a really crappy future.
Yeah. Did you ever play that paper or pyramid hands thing, whatever the heck that was?
Yeah, 1, 2, you say a number, say a color, and then you give them their fortune or something.
I just remember girls running up to me and going, well, let's pick a number, pick a thing. And I had no clue what was going on.
They say pick a color, and you spell the color, and they say pick a number, and you count the number.
Purple,
and then you
P-U-R-P-L-E.
Yeah, and then you say pick another one, and then it tells you your fortune. Or?
Wouldn't it always end with like, you're gay, and then they run away or something?
Some people just put mean things in it and have boys pick it, which I don't know how boys didn't realize after a certain point to stop playing.
Okay, so now let's talk about those patty cake type songs. I just remember these like elaborate hand signals that girls would be doing, and like it was almost like kung fu.
You would slap your legs, clap your hands, and then hit each other's hands. And there's different combinations, but there's really not a whole lot of choices. There's only like 5 different movements you could do.
But it looked good.
Yeah, you would try to go as fast as you can.
Yeah.
And my friend Jackie and I were the best. But apparently the songs that we were taught, I didn't make them up, had bad lyrics in them that we didn't understand, or at least we didn't really care about when we were little, like Wipe That Moonshine Off of Me.
Well, that's the monkeys jumping on the bed, they fall over and bust their head.
Or that's not even but
or I don't know, like they're probably about slavery, like half of these songs, but Ring Around the Rosie, Pocket Full of Posy, Ashes We All Fall Down, that's about like the plague or something.
Yeah, that's something when you're really little. That's how old kids play that game.
But I'm just saying morbid playground songs are definitely not new.
The one that I really liked, I even learned it in school. It was taught by my music teacher. I can't even remember it. But it had some weird lyrics in it, and it was taught by the teacher.
Well, how does Cinderella Kissed a Fella go? Doesn't she like give him diseases or something? Or something?
By mistake, she kissed a snake.
She kissed a snake.
How many doctors did it take? And then you keep going. That's a jump rope game. And then you just count and count until somebody stops.
Gotcha.
I mean...
Okay, so how many doctors did it take for what?
For her to get better from kissing a snake.
From the snake poison.
Yeah, I guess.
And of course, Wipe That Moonshine Off of Me was your version. I thought it was funny that your college friend was like, wait a minute, it's Wipe That Water Off of Me or something.
I don't know.
Something totally tame, and you were like...
We all knew that version. Yeah. So somehow the words in Pittsburgh are different than the words in
They sure are.
New Jersey or something. I don't know, wherever my friend was from. I remember there was one about stepping on glass and, censoring yourself instead of saying a swear word.
Yeah.
And there was something about peepholes in the bathroom.
Whoa,
and
okay.
There were a whole bunch of bad ones. Yeah. I remember them. But
time to cut it short. But, maybe if any listeners have any thoughts or memories about any of those, they can help us fill them in. You can visit us online at www.growing-up-geek.com. And I think that's going to wrap it up for this week.
Yeah, I guess so.
I hope people have enjoyed this sort of different mini episode this week. Obviously, things are crazy busy with all the weddings. It's the nuptial season.
At least in our families it is.
Yeah, lots of people with the late, like the fall wedding. Rebels, I guess.
They like the nice fall weather.
There you go. So on behalf of Matt and Rob, who are not here, thanks for listening. And once again, my name is Brad.
I'm Amber.
And we'll catch you next week.